Kimlau Post 1291. Mr. Wong.
Thank you. Thank you all. Nice to see you all here today. Again, my name is Kenneth Wong. I came over to the United States here in New York City when I was 8 years old with my parents. We immigrated from Hong Kong. At that time, we had no relatives here except a cousin of my father's. Now, the reason how we got here to the United States. Oh. Okay, the reason why I got here in the United States is because President John F. Kennedy was president at the time, and he had passed this law called the Refugee Act. That's how we got here. And then after we arrived, my father's cousin, Mr. Percy Howe, guaranteed that we will not be a burden to this country. My father found work within 2 weeks after we arrived. That was how we did. Okay. Now, I want to touch up on because I'm a descendant of a railroad worker, a transcontinental worker. My great-grandfather came to America in 1860. He was recruited as a Chinese laborer, and he was recruited from Taishan, province of Canton, China. During that time, most people living in Taishan were poor, and they would travel anywhere in the world to make money for a better living for their family. Some even risked their lives in order to achieve their goal. My great-grandfather was one of those who dares to risk his life and come to America and make money and send it home. So in 1860, he left his village along with hundreds of his village brothers, set sail on a ship to America. At that time, there's a saying in Chinese, 买居宅, meaning they practically sold themselves to become hard-working laborer in America. Among hundreds and thousands of those laborers signed up and eventually wind up in Sacramento, California, which is slightly north of San Francisco. This is the start point where they would build the transcontinental railway. Among all these men, most were physically fit. Some were not as fit, but the Chinese laborer took care of their comrades. For those who are strong and able-bodied, they would go out to work in the field, building the railroad. For those who are weak, they stay in the camp and do hand laundry and cooking. For those guys that work in the field, when they come back, they would have clean clothes and food to eat. Now this led to the hand laundry and Chinese restaurant they had that followed through. Even nowadays, they may still have a couple of hand laundries left. Well, restaurants, you see them all over the place. Notice, most Chinese restaurant cooks are male. So these workers have cleared through mountains, building tunnels by ways of setting dynamite inside the cave and exploding their way through. Many Chinese laborers lost their lives as a result inside the gate. They couldn't run out quick enough. And they have endured much hardship and harsh winters, sizzling summers. Many also died from that as well. And finally, on May 10th, 1869, the last spike was put in. That was called a golden spike. I think they did use one gold spike. And was driven down at the Promontory Summit, Utah. This would have completed 1,911 miles long transcontinental railroad, and that connects the Atlantic and Pacific coast of the United States. Now, the Chinese started in California. Who started from the East Coast? New York, the Irish. The Irish, gotta give them credit too. And the comparison of the railroad is like, let's say the length of the railroad is like this. The Chinese from the West Coast finished at this point. The Irish went from New York to that point to meet up. Why? Because they don't have to worry about clearing mountains, making tunnels through mountains. That's what the Chinese did. They lost a lot of lives blowing them tunnels out, and that's life. In May 2019, my wife and I, along with hundreds of Chinese descendants of the Transcontinental Railroad workers, went to Utah to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. It was a good celebration. A lot of people came in and joined up. In fact, they did a reenactment of the two trains meet, one from the west, one from the east. It was a good sight. I have some pictures I'll show you. Okay. The Chinese Exclusion Act, I think they started in the 1892. Well, that finally ended in 1943 during World War II, because there were over 20,000 Chinese men and some women enlisted in the U.S. Armed Forces. That was during World War II. They fought bravely and proudly. They were given a right to become U.S. citizens after they were honorably discharged after the war. Many went back to China, get married, and brought their brides home. That started a new era in U.S. history. Many Chinese were drafted during the Korean War and Vietnam War. I myself is a Vietnam War veteran. And I'm also a proud member of the Chinese American Legion Post 1291 on 191 Canal Street. I've been a member there for over 25 years. Memorial Post was formed in 1945 by the group of returning veterans from World War II. And the reason why they named it Lieutenant B.R. Kimlau Post is to memorize Lieutenant Benjamin Ralph Kimlau, who was an Air Force lieutenant got killed in 1943 on a mission in New Guinea. And he grew up in Chinatown. So, and I served in the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam era. I retired 25 years of active duty and reserve combined. After I retired from the Federal Navy, I continued to serve in the New York State Military Naval Guard for another 21 years. This is my story.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for listening.